morning, buddies! Right, on doing the timing belt, so give you a quick rundown of what I've done. So I've stripped out all the stuff on this side, which was basically the expansion tank for the coolant, the engine mount. Took off the timing cover, so you can see there's the timing belt. And what I've also got installed there is the timing pin. So I get the engine at top dead centre, push this pin in, and that keeps that the camshaft locked. Happy days with that one. Down to the bottom end on the crankshaft end. You can see also I've got my timing tool in, which is locked in position, locking the camshaft at top dead centre. Cool. So now I can take off the belt tensioner, which is here. Once that's off, I can take the timing belt off. Confident in the fact that my camshaft or crankshaft is not going to move. Pretty critical for timing belts, as you may well know. Once I've done that and fitted it all back together, I rotate the engine 3 times clockwise, and recheck my timing marks to ensure that the belt is seated correctly, and also my timing marks still line up for top dead centre. As well as that, I also check the tensioner itself, because you have a mark on the tensioner which is basically, there's a mark here and it should line up with that there. So you can see on this one that the belt has lost tension, which is another indicator of that belt worn, which is why it needs to be replaced. It's on 114,000 miles, so I'm surprised it hasn't been done by now, but luckily I'm doing it because I think it's on its last legs. Again, once I've done that, I can then go onto VCDS, my computer, select a certain parameter within there, and I can undo on these nuts here. And what that does is allows this part to rotate, but not the camshaft. It's only this part here, and this is for fine tuning the timing for the pump juice, basically the fuel pump. So I can get that to more or less as close to 0 as I can. It has a deviation of about plus and minus 5. There's a lot of people who don't bother with that, and it's just, it's one of them things that just, ensure that the engine is tuned or timed as best it can be, and it's for little effort. It's basically looking at a screen, adjust, start the engine, check the tolerance, adjust again if necessary till you get close to 0. Happy days. Right, enough of mine. Have a good day. I'll catch up with you later once I've put the new belt on, to make sure that everything's aligned and timed. Bye. Update. One thing I did forget to mention was I had to change a coolant pump at the same time. So you can see you can't see now because I've covered the camera. There's the coolant pump there, which is ran off the timing belt. And that's why whenever you get a timing belt done, you always get the coolant pump done at the same time. Otherwise it's false economy. You put a new timing belt on without doing the coolant pump, 3 months later your coolant pump leaks, you've got to strip the engine down to exactly the same position to change your coolant pump. So that's why it just makes sense. Change your coolant pump at the same time. So here's the new one to fit in. Got to drain the coolant obviously, bang that one on, then I can refit the timing belt. So here's the new timing belt, a Gates one, so it's good. Tensioner and your idler roller, and there's the old ones there, old belt, seen better days. Bearings are a bit wobbly in that one, as in that one as well. So definitely due a change this, or overdue a change should I say. When I done Bry's car, his Corsa, his is actually a timing chain, not a timing belt. Now commonly on timing chain cars, all the chain is doing is driving the camshaft from the crankshaft, and that's it. And you don't change the chain generally. They're just fitted for the life of the engine. So therefore, when you change a coolant pump on an engine with a timing chain, it's basically just bolt on, bolt off. You don't have to do anything else, really. You do a little bit of stripping down, but that's about it. But any car with a timing belt, 9 times out of 10, the coolant pump will always be driven off the timing belt. Not in all cases, but in most cases. Anyway, that's that one. Ciao for now. I'll drain this coolant. We're cracking on. So new timing belt's on. Happy days. New coolant pump is on down there. You can see the tension. Yeah, you can see the metal arrows lined up with the centre of the gap. So my belt's tensioned correctly. Right, so all I've got to do now is pull out the pins, timing pins, rotate the engine 360 3 times, recheck the timing, so reinsert my pins. That tells us that I haven't misaligned the belt. I moved it a tooth too far or too less on one of the cogs. So that's why you double check your timing's correct. I'm confident it is, but we shall see. Once I've done that, start putting it all back together. Ciao for now. Now then, buddies, onto some basic maintenance now, some air servicing. I've already replaced the air filter. There's the old one. Yeah, pretty minging. Yeah, so there's definitely due an air filter. Gonna change the oil. So a couple of things on servicing. So I never put clean oil into a dirty engine. So I use this Coma engine flush. Really good stuff. Well, you can actually use petrol or diesel, drop it in the oil, but it's best just to get the proper stuff. So it's about £7. All it does really is thins the oil, so you pour it into the engine, run the engine up to temperature for about 10 minutes, and this will work its magic. Yeah, diluting the oil, taking off all the scum and sludge off all the oil galleries, etc., dropping it into the sump. So once you've run that 10 minutes, drop the oil, and that's it. You can top up with your new oil. Yeah, so I've got the correct grade PD oil for the PD engine. Happy days. Fuel filter, replace that, and then the oil filter, which this type's the filter type rather than a screw-on metal cartridge or canister. Also, what I've got to do is the glow plugs are shown up on VCDS on the computer that 2 of the glow plugs are knackered. So that'll be preventing good startup on cold start. So I'll replace these. Important thing to do when you're replacing glow plugs is never try to remove them from a cold engine. So they're quite easy to get to on these PD engines. Some are a bit awkward there, but these are easy. Yeah, so I basically just pull this off. Yeah, and then that'll reveal. Oh, snap there! Look at that. It's all right. It'll go back on. Yeah, so basically take these covers off, and that reveals the glow plugs. Now, as I say, heat the engine up. Yeah, which I've got to do anyway to thin the oil. So for the 10 minutes that it's running while my engine flushes in, that'll get the engine warm enough. I'll certainly get the head hot enough for us to take the glow plugs out. If you try and take them out in a cold engine, you've got more of a chance of them being seized on and they snap. Once they snap, that's it, you're knackered. You might as well just leave it. Otherwise you've got to go through the rounds of getting them drilled out. Yeah, normally can result in having to remove the head to do that. So for a simple thing of making sure the engine's warm, preventing a snap, it's the way forward. So hopefully when I run this up, I'll get them taken out, no bother, get them swapped over. That's it really. So basic service, do all the filters, new oil, Happy days, should be purring. Oh, another thing I've got to do, EGR. It's coming up that's insufficient flow. So you remember off the Polo that I actually removed the EGR system for this very reason. I'm not going to delete this one though, I'm going to leave it on. But I am going to have to take it off and clean it. So as we know, the exhaust gases are getting fed into that. Yeah, this is the vacuum on the top which opens the valve. Yeah, so that's blocked even. With all the exhaust soot that's getting fed back into the intake, so I've got to take that off, clean it so it's unrestricted flow. I'll show you on a next video when I take that off how bad this will be, yeah, compared to that Polo one that I took off, which wasn't too bad actually, but I've still deleted it. But I bet that is absolutely minging inside, and proof will be in the pudding when I take it off and show you. Anyway, that's for another video. So on with the basic service. Ciao for now.